Okay, so today in botany lecture, we are going to see the development of embryo, or in short, you can call them the embryogeny process. So basically, in this, we have to see the development of monocot embryo and dicot embryo. Both the type of embryo development will be seen in this embryogeny process. So if we talk about the introduction, then monocot embryo and dicot embryo, which basically the part of the gymnosperm and angiosperm. And here, this name of the monocot and dicot, that is basically rely on the number of cotyledon which are present inside the seed. If some embryo that are just having the one single cotyledon, if the one single cotyledon will be present, then they will be known as a monocot. But if they are having the two cotyledon inside them, or you can say two path where the food will be going to store, at that stage on the around axis, that will be known as the dicotyledon embryo. So this is a just very simple difference between the monocot and dicot. Monocot with one cotyledon, and dicot with the two cotyledon. Here you can see these cotyledon, they are having the some axis which on which or by which they will be present inside the seed. Like the cotyledon, they are just having the primary axis, but in dicotyledon, they are present on the both the sides of axis in the opposite direction. So at the tip of the axis, the apical bud is present, and the base of the axis, the root tip is present. So if we already seen how the embryo look like. So the at the top of the embryo, there will be a structure called plumule, okay, which is going to be converted into the shoot. And at the bottom of this cotyledon or this axis, we are having the radicle, which is going to convert into the root. So this is very common, and I think you know what is the difference between plumule and radicle. Plumule is for shoot or stem formation, radicle is for root formation. You can also see the diagram here. This is a diagram of the dicotyledon. Okay, here are the two dicots which are present, and the middle one, this is called the axis. Okay, this thing, that is the axis, and these are the cotyledon. And below the axis is this place, this is called the radicle, which is going to convert into the root. And this portion, that leafy like appearance, that is called the plumal epicotyle. These are the same thing. Okay, don't get confused in between the plumal or epicotyle. Plumal and epicotyle are the same thing, and they are going to convert in the plant, or you can say they are going to convert in the shoot formation, stem formation. But the hypocotyle and radicle, they are the same thing, and they are going to convert into the root formation. So root formation will be done by the hypocotyle or radicle, and the shoot formation will be done by the epicotyle or plumal. After that, you can see that this the dark green color, or in this dark orange color, that is the seed coat. So every embryo or the seed when formed, they are having this beetish color or dark color seed coat present on their surface. So in the case of the monocotyledon, there will be just one single cotyledon will be present. This one single cotyledon have to be here. So that's why, because of this one single cotyledon, their axis is work like this. Okay, this portion, this is their axis. Their axis basically work perpendicular to the normal embryo axis formation. That their axis is present in the center, but their axis is present here. And on the basis of that, the upper portion towards the chalazion end. Okay, if we see in the ovule, there are the two ends, chalazion and the micropyle end. So if we talk about the chalazion end, so towards the chalazion end, the portion which is reli, that is the epicotyle in the monocot, and if we talk about the radical position, that will be going towards the micropyle end, because micropyle end are responsible for the radicle to come out and convert into the root. This is the basic structural difference between the dicotyledon embryo and the monocotyledon embryo. So we already studied earlier also the highly organized body of a seed plant represent the sporophytic phase of the life cycle. So we know that the plant have a two stages. Okay, one is the sporophytic stage, and second one is the gametophytic stage. So in the case of the sporophytic stage, plant have to be complete in chromosome number. So chromosome number are full in the case of sporophyte, or you can say the 2n stage. So at this time, when the plant is in the condition of the seed formation or the embryo type, so at this time, plant is in the phase of sporophyte phase. Means they are having the all fused cell, because embryo form after the zygote formation, and zygote is a product of fertilization. So when the fertilization happen, simply the cell become the diploid. So that's why this sporophytic phase of life cycle will be present inside the seed. It began its existence usually with the fertilized egg. So how they are the seed going to start form? The very first step is a zygote, which is a result of the fertilized egg, which develop into the embryo by characteristic step showing characteristic of future adult organization of plant. So after having some special kind of developmental phases, and that depend on the species to species, like every species, they are having the different kind of embryo formation. Okay, not the every species follow the same kind of embryo formation. Some going to very first by the transverse division, some can do the anticlinal division, some can do the periclinal division. So any kind of plane in division can be take place when the embryo started growing and converting into the seed. So this whole adult organization of plant is you can say this is depend on what plane embryo is going to divide. So this the very first step of division is also important in the whole plant formation. So embryo as a whole assume a specific form in which an axis and one of more leaf-like appendages, the cotyledon, can be recognized. So when we talk about the specific form of embryo, then they are having this main axis, just we had seen in the diagram. They are having this axis, one or more leaf-like appendages that depend on the cotyledon. Sometimes it can be one leaf and sometimes it can be two leaf, but not more than two leaf. There, but in the case of gymnosperm, there will be some endosperm formation, or you can say some embryo formation, which can be have more number of leaf, but that is rare. So normally what happens, there will be one leaf or the two leaf. That based on the cotyledon. If they're monocot, there will be one leaf structure. If they are going to dicotyledon, they can be two leaf structure. This type of normal structure can be seen inside the embryo. Now, because of its location below the cotyledon, the stem-like axis is called hypocotyle. We know that if the cotyledon place, or you can say if sometime the location of a particular object is below the axis, okay, down the axis, then that thing will be known as the hypocotyle. Below the axis will be known as hypocotyle. So at its lower end, the root pole or the hypocotyle bears the insufficient root. So basically, this whole thing, the lower root pole present, hypocotyle form, it at that place, why they are present there, or what is the main function of these things to be present at that place. So majorly, their function is there to make the incipient root. Means when the time has to become or the seed started to germinate, when we see that when we wash a seed inside the soil and we give the water, they start going to germinate. At that time, the very first thing which come from that seed, that will the incipient root. That is the very first thing going to be come out from the seed. Another upper hand, or you can say other hand, above the cotyledon, there will be a epicotyle. Okay, this epicotyle, that is going to be converted into the incipient shoot formation. So the root may be represented by its meristem, apical meristem of root, or by a primordia root or a radicle. So when this development of the root starting, then the apical meristem of the root form. we already studied the apical meristem theories, okay, root meristem theory and shoot meristem theory. So both the theories work differently. Like the for the formation of root, there are several other kind of cells or the layers will be formed. And if we wanted to see that how will the shoot going to perform, then there will be different kind of shoot apical meristem theory work on them. Similarly, the apical meristem of the shoot, located at the shoot pole, may not initiate the development of a shoot above the cotyledon. So, sometime what happen? The apical meristem of the shoot, which have to be located at the shoot pole, but they cannot initiate the development of shoot above the cotyledon. So, this thing, like sometime they are present there, but they cannot initiate that. And for their initiation, there will be a primordial shoot will be present. So that primordial shoot, which is you can say the shoot which have to be present in an embryo type, or you can say inside the seed. If we see a seed structure, as we already see the seed structure, this is look like a embryonic plant, like a very small leaf present at the top and very small radicle will be at the bottom for the formation of fruit. So this whole leaf primordia, if they that is not going to present there, then the shoot cotyledon will never be going into the developmental phase. So that's why this apicotyle plumal region, that is very essential for the development into the shoot. So this is a diagram in which you can see the developmental phase of at the different time period in the seed germination. This is a normal structure of monocotyledon and dicotyledon seed. You can also see that in the monocotyledon, the very first leaf is only a single leaf will be present. In the dicotyledon, they will start with the two cotyledon, and they will be having the two leafy structure just opposite to the main axis. This is the main axis. So this axis also work when the plant get adult or plant get to be into the whole mature form. So this have to be remembered that the first very thing, the shoot never comes up first. Okay, always the root comes first. Because why the root come first? Because the gravity apply on root, because root have to be present on the micropyle side, and the microcyle side the gravity apply more on the radical portion as comparison to the shoot. So more gravity have to be applied on the radical, that's why root came first and the shoot came later. Now the very first developmental phase of the embryo in the monocot plant, like how this embryo going to be developed inside the monocotyledon plant. So in monocotyledon plant, a good deal of variation is found in the stages of development of embryo. So there are so many variations, so many differences, so many changes can be happen inside the development of embryo. So now we have to see what kind of differences, what kind of changes can be seen inside the monocotyledon plant embryo development. It is rather difficult to find a single plant in which the development of embryo may be considered as typical of monocotyledon. So the problem of study inside the monocotyledon plant embryo, that all the monocotyledon plant, like there are hundreds and thousands of the plant which come under the monocots. So the every plant which the present inside the monocotyledon plant, they are having their different pattern for the development of embryo. Like if we take the example, like five plants are there, and all the five plants they are going to develop their embryo in a different way. They do not match their embryo formation with each other. So that's why to study a typical kind of monogod plant, and like I am telling you about the developmental phases of the embryo in monocot, but if there is no similarity, I cannot tell you each and every plant embryo development. Like there are thousands and millions of the plant on the earth, I cannot explain every embryo development inside a plant. What we do, we take a common thing which have to be similar in all the kind of plant. But in the case of monocotyledon, there are very differences. So that's why the study of their embryo development is very typical. But still, the scientists, after studying a lot of monocotyledon embryo development, they find a plant which have a 70% similarity to the all monocotyledon, or you can say this is the best kind of example which having the basic all characteristic of monocot embryo development. So what happened, what plant it is, this is the development of embryo in Sagittaria. Okay, family Alcinaceae. So this Alcinaceae family plant Sagittaria, that is a plant which are having, or you can say which has close resemblance to that in other monocot, and it's described here. So we choose this plant because their pattern of development have to be closest to a lot of monocotyledon plant inside monocotyledon division. So what happened inside the Sagittaria plant? So soon after the fertilization, the fertilized egg or oospore greatly enlarged in size. So what happened just after the fertilization? The fertilized egg, okay, the oospore, they will start growing in size. So they have to be take the repetitive divisions inside them because they needed to be enhanced their size. So they divide transversely to form a three-cell proembryo. So the first division happen inside them, that is the transverse division, and this is happen there to form the three-cell embryo. The three-cell proembryo will be formed here. Now these three cells are basal, middle, and terminal. So these three cells will be basal cell, middle cell, and terminal cell. Basal cell which is cut off towards the micropyle end. So as it is a basal cell, it have to be present in the downward condition, downside. So downside is always the micropyle end. So that's why they are present towards the micropyle end. They enlarge very much and form major portion of the suspensor. After some time, they enlarge, they increase their size, and after increasing of their size, what they are going to make, the most of the portion of the suspensor that will be developed by this basal cell. So you can say that here suspensor will be formed by the basal cell. Middle cell now, they undergoes repetitive transverse and vertical division, thus differentiating few suspensor cell, radical, plumal, and hypoglottal. Now you can see the our middle cell. This is responsible for the formation of some of the suspensor cell. Most of the suspensor cell will be formed by the basal cell, but some, a limited kind of the cell will be formed by the middle cell also. So the middle cell form a little suspensor cell. They form radical in the downside. They form plumal at the top side or hypoglottal. You can see the hypoglottal and radical, they are not very different. So thus they are difference out the hypoglottal, radical, plumal, and suspensor. So you have to remember these four things that will be developed by the middle cell. The terminal cell now also undergoes a number of division in various planes and form a single cotyledon. As it is a monocot, so there will be one single cotyledon will be formed. So what is the function of the terminal cell? Then they are just going to form a single cotyledon. So the major function is here formed by the middle cell, which going to make the radical, the plumal, hypoglottal, even some suspensor cell, basal cell that is responsible for the suspensor formation, and this terminal cell that will be going to convert into the cotyledon. So just remember all the function of all three cells. Here the cotyledon, this is terminal in structure, and the plumal is laterally situated in a depression. Now, if we see the positions of each and everything inside the monocot embryo, then the cotyledon is at the top. Okay, cotyledon will be present at the top portion, and in the depression, there is like depression. You can see there is a like a ridge or furrow in which there will be a plumal will be present. So that plumal will be present only in a depression. In some monocots like Colocasia, there is no suspensor in the embryo, but some kind of embryo also, as we know that the every embryo formation in the monocot is different. So some of the embryo, they do not even have a suspensor in them. So what is the function of suspensor? Why suspensor is present here? So the suspensor usually pushes the embryo into the endosperm from where the former get nourishment. So what is the function? That they just push the embryo inside the endosperm. So when the embryo is going to be pushed inside the endosperm, they are the higher degree to get the nourishment. So as they will be close, so as they will be close inside the endosperm, so as the close they were, they will be get the more amount of nutrition when they are close to the endosperm. So this is a major function of the suspensor inside the embryo sac, that they need to push the embryo, and as the hosterium will also be formed in the suspensor, or you can say the suspensor also serve as the hosterium to absorb food from the nucleus. So this is the second function of the suspensor. Then they go to the nucleus, they absorb food material, and that absorbance of the food material, that also going to help the monocotyledon embryo to develop into the further plants. Some plants which show this kind of function of suspensor, like Agapanthus family of Liliaceae, and they are having the two cotyledon are formed instead of one. So what happened in that case, like if they are having some extra storage material, so the extra storage which got from the nucleus, that is not by the endosperm, okay, there are the secondary tissue which is going to provide the nutrition here, and that is the nucleus. So basically when they are getting the nucleus from here, so it look like that they are having the two cotyledon. So basically that is not a standard kind of cotyledon, but it look like that they are having two cotyledon phase, but originally they are just having one single cotyledon, as they are true monocotyledons. You can also see the diagram here. This is a zygote. Okay. Now the cell have to be divided into the three part. Terminal cell that going to form the cotyledon. Basal cell, okay, that will be going to form the suspensor totally. This middle cell, that is converting into the radical, plumal, and hypocotyle, and some of the cell will be converted into the suspensor. So after the developmental phases, or they are having the several divisions inside them, like you can see there, even this terminal cell, they are having the free nuclear division, and after the cell will be formed. So this kind of division will be seen. So you can see suspensor cells will be this side. This is the microbial, and this is the chalazion. And this suspensor cell always grew towards the micropyle end, and the in between there will be the radical always be present towards the suspensor, and plumal, that will always be present towards the cotyledon. So this kind of developmental phases has to be seen inside the monocotyledon. Now we have to see the developmental phases inside the dicotyledon plant. So how the embryo will be developed inside the dicotyledon plant. So in the dicotyledon plant, basically follow a uniform pattern except for slight variation. This is opposite to the monocot. Like monocot plant, each and every plant have a different pattern for the embryo development. But in the dicot, they follow the uniform pattern. Means all the dicotyledon plant, they having the same kind of embryo formation, but some have some slight variation. Means some have some different change or difference in between them. But all most of the type of dicot plant, they kind of have a same kind of embryo development. So the fertilized egg or oospore greatly enlarge in size. So same as it happen in the monocot, when the oospore form, they have to be greatly enlarged in size and elongated and divide transversely. So the first division, what is going to be present here, that is a transverse division. So transverse division happen, and they are forming into the one suspensor cell towards the microbial end and one embryonal cell. There are no three divisions, they are just having two divisions here. Was one suspensor cell towards the microbial end, and second embryonal cell towards the embryo sac, or you can say towards the middle of embryo sac, opposite in direction. One is towards the microbial, so second one is always towards the chalazion. So as the development proceed, as the development increase, the suspensor cell further divide and form 8 to 10 cell suspensor. So this suspensor cell going to divide and forming in the from one cell, they are going to form 8 to 10 cell structure, which push the developing embryo into the food storage tissue. So what is the suspensor work? They just have to push the embryo inside the endosperm. And why they are doing that? Because when they do that, embryo needed a large amount of nutrition. So hence, if they pushes them towards endosperm, their rate of absorption of nutrition will be increased. So in simple term, they can get more nutrition. So the lowermost cell of the suspensor, which is called hypophysis, that undergoes from the division to form the radicle. Now the last cell, suspensor, that is present toward the micropylate. So the last cell of the suspensor, that can be called as the hypophysis. So what we can call the last cell of suspensor, that is hypophysis, and this hypophysis will be going to convert into the radicle. Okay, remember that hypophysis is the place at what radicle will start forming. These changes in the suspensor cell are associated with the enlargement of the embryo cell. So the same changes has been having inside the suspensor cell, and other hand, the enlargement of embryonal cell will be taking place. The second cell, that is embryonal cell, which is also going to enlarge. Now, the embryonal cell also divide, and the first division is longitudinal. So they are having this longitudinal division by one more longitudinal at right angle to the first, and other transverse forming an octate called proembryo. Now, how much division will be happen inside the embryonal cell? First longitudinal, second one more longitudinal, and the third one is transverse. So two longitudinal and one transverse section, that going to be convert them into the 8 cell structure, that is called proembryo. This is. So this will be converting them to the 8 cell structure. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One division will be happen at like this. One division happen be like this. Second division will be take place, and third division will be take place like that. So in this case, they will be going to divide into the 8 cell structure. So this 8 cell structure is basically the proembryo phase. Now this proembryo will be formed. So after this is followed by a periclinal division. So periclinal, you know, the side by side division, forming a 16 cell structure. So now they are having the periclinal division, and after the 8 cell, they will be going to form the 16 cell, which may be differentiated into posterior or hypobasal content towards the suspensor, or anterior or epibasal content. So now there will be two octant will be formed. One octant, that is towards the posterior type, that is called hypobasal octant. Octant means 8 cell. Okay, this hypobasal octant, that will be towards the suspensor. Okay, and the anterior one, that is called the epibasal octant. This is the epibasal octant. Okay, and this is the hypobasal octant. This will be directed towards the suspensor. Okay, and this center one, that will be called as the epibasal. So the epibasal cell, as a result for further division and differentiation, form plumule and cotyledon. So this epibasal cell, they are going to be converted into the plumule and cotyledon, while the hypocotyle is formed the hypobasal cell, and the hypocotyle will be going to convert into the hypobasal cell, and this epibasal, they will be going to convert into the plumule or epicotyle. We already know the hypophysis already made the radicle, so there will be no radicle form here. Already hypophysis made radicle earlier. Now the peripheral cell of the proembryo subsequently divide by anticlinal walls. Now the division will be take place in the proembryo, and what kind of division will be present here? There will be the anticlinal division, thus differentiating a single layer dermatogen. So first layer which is going to be formed in the proembryo, that is dermatogen. You know, I think you remember that dermatogen will be going to convert into the epidermis. The middle cell of the embryo that also divide periclinally and form the plerome. So you remember, I think the dermatogen, plerome, and peribulum that were the apical meristem layers. So here, this plerome will be formed, which going to form the vascular tissues. Okay, the three things are the major important anatomical feature. First is epidermis, second is cortex, and third is vascular bundle. So here, dermatogen will be from epidermis, plerome will be from vascular tissue, and here peribulum they are going to form the cortex. So all the three layers is going to form inside the proembryo for the formation of the anatomical portion of the plant, for the epidermis, for the cortex, and for the vascular bundle. So as the development further proceed, now after the development start proceeding, so the free end of the developing embryo become heart shape. So now the free end, the developing embryo now has the embryo started developing this. They are going to start looking like a heart shape embryo. So this heart shape that is for the primordia formation of the cotyledon. So this heart shape here, you can say now you can see it by the diagram. The two cell, this is a zygote. The two cell have been formed, one the suspensive, one the embryonal cell. After there will be a lot of development in the suspensive cell, and last cell of the suspensive that is called haustorial cell. This will going to become root, or you can say the radical formation will be happen. The embryonal cell, this will going to divide transverse and anticlinal and form the 16 cell structure, primarily 4 cell, then 8 cell, then 16 cell. And this outer layer, this will be called as a dermatogen, which is going to be converted into the epidermis, dermatogen. Second layer, that is will be going to convert into the cortex, and the inner one, that is the plerome, the inner layer, that going to be converted into the vascular tissue. After this all three layer formation, their embryo going to be converted into the heart shaped structure, this structure. Why they are forming this structure? Because by this lobes, the lobes, you can see one lobe and two lobes, they are going to be make two cotyledon here. One cotyledon this and second cotyledon this. So these two cotyledon will be going to present by this heart shaped lobe. So after that, we are having this two cotyledon structure, and this is called depression. You know, depression, if we talk about depression in the Hindi, that will be known as a any kind of you can say the depression is just like कोई गड्ढा कर देते हैं हम जैसे. So that is a depression which is the plumule is going to be present. So plumule is basically responsible for the shoot formation, and this epicotyle and hypocotyle region that are having a range in which cotyledon is going to develop. So they are just helping the cotyledon to be developed, and the radical, the same, they will be going to convert into the root formation. So this is all about the dicotyledon development. As in Capsula brusa posterior, there is embryo development. They rapidly consuming the surrounding endosperm, and the seeds so form become non-endospermic. So the endosperm may not be completed, exhausted, and persisted in the seed. Sometime what happened? The endosperm which is present inside the ovule, that can be disintegrated, or you can say the whole endosperm can be utilized by this embryo development. As the embryo developing, they need so many kind of nutrition inside them. So maybe what happens, some kind, the whole process, or you can say whole endosperm, that can be digested and utilized by this development of the embryo. So in that case, when the endosperm is not present in the form of formation of the seed, they will be called as a non-endospermic seed. So such condition can be found inside the endospermic seed, like castor also, where endosperm was present but not present in present situation. So that can be a different cases. Now the last, what is the relationship between embryo and endosperm? So I think from today's lecture already is, you understand that what is the basic relationship between the embryo and endosperm. So an embryo is a young multicellular organism formed before it emerged from the seed. So that is the basically first unit for the seed formation. And the seed is an embryonic plant, so which stores food and enclosed in a protective outer covering which gave rise to a new plant. So basically seed is a embryonic plant which going to be converted into a plant, but that plant needed to be a lot amount of the energy or the food which they are going to have by the endosperm formation. So basically the size of embryo and the size of endosperm, they are positively correlated. Like why they are correlated? If the embryo size is like 2 nanometer, and if the endosperm size will be 1 nanometer, so how the endosperm going to provide the full nutrition to the embryo? So that's why size of embryo and size of endosperm both will be equally same or correlated, like same size should be present there, so that's why they can give them the enough amount of nutrition. Fully developed normal embryos may be associated with normal, retarded, and degeneration of even no endosperm at all. Sometimes embryo do not need endosperm because they already got the nutrition from the cotyledon. So that time endosperm not present there, and that is a non-endospermic situation. But still, the endosperm play an important role in supporting embryonic growth by supplying nutrient. So the very first important work of the endosperm towards the embryo, that is they supply the major amount of nutrition. They are going to protect the embryo. So they basically prepare a covering around the embryo. So in that case, they are going to protect the embryo, controlling embryo growth by acting as mechanical barrier. So they just made a layer. So that's why this is very definite that embryo has to be developed in this range only. The not very unnecessary division cannot happen inside the embryo. Just only those division will be take place which is necessary for the development of embryo. So no any other or unnecessary kind of division happen if the endosperm is present as a mechanical barrier for the seed development. So this is all about your embryo and endosperm formation. So I think now on the basis of your embryo and endosperm will be answer for these questions. Like the early globular embryo is. So the globular shape of the embryo can be called as, or the process of formation of zygote to an embryo. So what process lead to the formation of zygote to condition in the embryo? Any answer? What is true and false, like embryogeny is meroplastic or not, and how does a typical dicot divide? So there are separate plane in which a dicotyledon embryo can be divided. The last cell of the suspensor is, you can say that. What is the last cell of suspensor in dicotyledon? It's going to make root.
Hypophysis.
Hypophysis is going to form the root inside the dicotyledon. And the first cell of the suspensor in dicot function as a, what was the function of the suspensor cell? To
And antipodal cells. Antipodal.
mhm. First cell of the suspensor function for the hostorium. The attachment for the embryo to the endosperm, na, they just push the embryo inside the endosperm. So by the formation of hostorium, this I told you in dicotyledon development. The part of embryonal axis above the level of cotyledon is called embryonal axis above the cotyledon. What will be known as
Epicotyl.
epicotyl. In monocotyledon, what grow rapidly? What grow more rapid? Monocotyledon.
Radical.
Yes, very good. Lower end of the embryonal axis in monocot is enclosed within lower end of embryonal axis. In monocot, it enclosed within. In what they
Ma'am,
will be
A.
enclosed?
Ma'am, it's A.
Yes, B, coleorhiza. Okay, that rhiza is basically for the root formation, and the lower end is always for the root formation, so that's why coleorhiza. Epicotyle in monocot has a few leaf primordia enclosed within. Now answer it. Epicotyle in monocot. So leaf primordia will be enclosed in.
Hypophysis.
No, hypophysis is going to form the root. The answer you did in the ninth section, scutellum. In the scutellum, that will be inside the epicotyle, and this coleorhiza, they will be into the root sheath. If the root going to be covered, that will be inside the coleorhiza, and if the shoot will be going to be covered, that was in the coilopetile or the sorry, this answer is coilopetile, not scutellum. This is the answer is coilopetile. Coilopetile for the epicotyle and coelorhiza for the lower embryonal axis. Okay, that's all for today. And if still, if you guys have any confusion, you can go through these references. There are also some majorly elaborated thing about the dicotyledon and monocotyledon embryo. Any confusion?
No, ma'am.
Okay, chalo.